Alrighty. So I've looked at the full inaugural speech of Donald Trump, and I have to ask, someone tell me what's wrong with the speech. I don't see an issue in here whatsoever. He's saying the same things he was saying before, and when I say before, I don't necessarily mean just last year, 2016, when he was campaigning, or even at the end of 2015. I'm talking about decades ago when he said all the problems wrong with this country that he saw that could be fixed. So you might argue, well, Barack said the same thing on his campaign trail, and look what he did. He didn't do any of the damn things he said he was going to do. He's going to go after Wall Street, and we're going to be the clearest, government you ever saw with, transparency, and any bill that comes up, we're going to put on the White House first for the citizens to look at before we pass it, get your feedback. Yeah, and the favorite one, going after the Wall Street bankers. Please. Got to be kidding me. So you could argue, though, and say, well, he said that, and it seems sincere, and then when he got elected, that didn't happen. So why shouldn't we think the same thing will happen with Donald Trump, where he gets elected and then says, never mind. Again, I have to refer you back to many, many, many years ago where he's never swayed from his viewpoints. Not only that, did you not just see the most epic battle of battles for the White House that ended November 9th, 2016, where he won in a shocking way we never would have thought. Webbots seemed to think so and said we'd all be shocked the next day and that there'd be some shenanigans being pulled to try to still install Hillary instead of him, which we saw. He also said it'll be just a little blip, the Webbot, just a little blip in the pages of history. It's a non-issue. And it apparently was a non-issue. He is the president. So I want to read you his speech because in case you missed it, didn't catch the full thing, it's worth noting. And he says, I'm just going to read it. It's not that long. It was only up there for like 16 minutes or 12 minutes or something. I think it was 16 minutes. It's very, short as far as that goes, but down to the point. Chief Justice Roberts, President Carter, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, fellow Americans, and people of the world, thank you. We, the citizens of America, are now joined in a great national effort to rebuild our country and restore its promise for all of our people. Together we will determine the course of America and the world for many, many years to come. And when he says that part, I thought to myself what Frank at my job told me one day. He's like, when this is before the election, he said, if Trump gets in there, he's going to clean house, do what he's going to say he's going to do. And if he does what he says he's going to do, he said, and we both thought he would, his son's going to take over when he has his 8 years up. And then the next son may take over, or he says you may see Trump's name in the White House for like the next 2-3 decades. And I said, you could be very well right. We will face challenges, we will confront hardships, but we will get the job done. Every 4 years we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power, and we are grateful to President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama for their gracious aid throughout this transition. They have been magnificent. Thank you. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, which I don't know if you know this. Let me stop for 1 second. I was looking at this the other day, and they said, the day that he takes the inauguration, or that it takes place, and I think I just mentioned this, though, but in case I can't remember if I didn't, I'm going to say it again. In case I didn't, I'll say it now. Trump was like 70 years old. It was 70 months, 7 weeks, 7 days, and like 7 hours, something about his life and whatever, his birth date, to that moment. Like 777, you know what I mean? Like that's just nuts. So that's interesting. But today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the people. That's the most epic line of all, by the way. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and the factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. And while they celebrated in our nation's capital, there was little to celebrate for struggling families all across our land. That all changed, starting right here and right now, because this moment is your moment. It belongs to you. It belongs to everyone gathered here today and everyone watching all across America. This is your day. This is your celebration, and this, the United States of America, is your country. What truly matters is not which party controls our government, but whether our government is controlled by the people. January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. Everyone is listening to you now. You came by the tens of millions to be part of a historic movement, the likes of which the world has never seen before. At the center of this movement is a crucial conviction that a nation exists to serve its citizens. Americans want great schools for their children, safe neighborhoods for their families, and good jobs for themselves. These are just and reasonable demands of righteous people in a righteous public. But for too many of our citizens, a different reality exists. Mothers and children trapped in poverty in our inner cities, rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation, an education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge, and the crime and the gangs and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. We are one nation, and their pain is our pain. Their dreams are our dreams, and their success will be our success. We share one heart, one home, and one glorious destiny. The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans. For many decades, we've enriched foreign industry at the expense of American industry, subsidized the armies of other nations, while allowing for the very sad depletion of our military. We've defended other nations' borders while refusing to defend our own. And spent trillions and trillions of dollars overseas while America's infrastructure has fallen into disrepair and decay. We've made other countries rich while the wealth, strength, and confidence of our country has dissipated over the horizon. One by one, the factories shuttered and left our shores, with not even a thought about the millions and millions of American workers that were left behind. The wealth of our middle class has been ripped from their homes and then redistributed all across the world, but that is the past, and now we are looking only to the future. We are assembled here today, issuing a new decree to be heard in every city, in every foreign capital, and in every hall of power from this day forward. A new vision will govern our land from this day forward. It's going to be only America first. America first. Every decision on trade, on taxes, on immigration, on foreign affairs will be made to benefit American workers and American families. We must protect our borders from the ravages of other countries making our products, stealing our companies, and destroying our jobs. Protection will lead to great prosperity and strength. I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down. America will start winning again, winning like never before. We will bring our jobs back. We will bring back our borders. We will bring back our wealth, and we will bring back our dreams. We will build new roads and highways and bridges and airports and tunnels and railways all across our wonderful nation. We will get our people off of welfare and back to work, rebuilding our country with American hands and American labor. We will follow two simple rules: buy American and hire American. We will seek friendship and goodwill with the nations of the world. But we will do so with the understanding that it is the right of all nations to put their own interests first. We do not seek to impose our way of life on anyone, but rather to let it shine as an example. We will shine for everyone to follow. We will reinforce old alliances and form new ones. And unite they spelled that wrong. And unite the civilized world against radical Islamic terrorism, which we will eradicate completely from the face of the earth. At the bedrock of our politics will be a total allegiance to the United States of America, and through our loyalty to our country, we will rediscover our loyalty to each other. When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. The Bible tells us how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. We must speak our minds openly, debate our disagreements honestly, but always pursue solidarity. When America is united, America is totally unstoppable. There should be no fear. We are protected, and we will always be protected. We will be protected by the great men and women of our military and law enforcement, and most importantly, we will be protected by God. Finally, we must think big and dream even bigger. In America, we understand that a nation is only living as long as it is striving. We will no longer accept politicians who are all talk and no action, constantly complaining but never doing anything about it. The time for empty talk is over. Now now arrives the hour of action. Do not allow anyone to tell you that it cannot be done. No challenge can match the heart and fight and spirit of America. We will not fail. Our country will thrive and prosper again. We stand at the birth of a new millennium, ready to unlock the mysteries of space and free the earth from the miseries of disease. So I want you to think about what he just said there, because you know what kind of technology we have. I've mentioned this before. The head of Lockheed Martin, I think he was just the head of the Skunk Works division possibly, but his name I believe was Ben Rich. And when he departed from Lockheed, he had a public announcement he made, I believe, and he said, "We now have the technology to take ET home, but it will take an act of God to get it released to the public." Okay? You now have a man who has access to that information. And if you didn't catch what I just said, we will not fail. Our country will thrive and prosper again. We stand at the birth of a new millennium, ready to unlock the mysteries of space, to free the earth from the miseries of disease, and to harness the industries and technologies of tomorrow. Sounds like he's on point. Why are we messing with this fossil fuel crap? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing all that stuff? We have incredible technology we need to start using and put out there. That's what I get from that. New national pride will stir our souls, lift our sights, and heal our divisions. It's time to remember that old wisdom our soldiers will never forget, that whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. We all enjoy the same glorious freedoms, and we all salute the same great American flag. And whether a child is born in the urban sprawl of Detroit or the windswept plains of Nebraska, they look up at the same night sky. They fill their heart with the same dreams, and they are infused with the breath of life by the same Almighty Creator. So to all Americans in every city, near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words. You will never be ignored again. Your voices, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny, and your courage and goodness and love will forever guide us along the way. Together, we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud we will make you, oh, that's weird. We will make you, make America safe again. And yes, Together we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you. So, a couple of interesting issues, though, or maybe one, really. Eradicate radical Islamic people off the face of the earth. Well, some of the hoaxes out there, he went into the school and killed only the Christian students. A lot of that's fake, as you know. So a lot of us have a preconceived notion that all of a sudden, again, Islam is horrible and that's it, when that's not necessarily true. However, when you look at the EU and other places where they, as in the heads of those states, open the gates, come on in, Islamic people from all walks of life, Northern Africa, Syria, come on over. Come on over. And then you see some of the acts that they're committing on people. You're not changing that mindset. You're not going to be able to go over there and say, listen, all the stuff you've been told about us, it's wrong. Let's try to be friends. Yeah, not going to happen. So it's a hell of a thing that Mr. Trump's going to have to deal with. And he may just say, you know what, let's drop a few precision bombs here, here, and here, cross our fingers and hope for the best, and be done with it. Or we might be leading into World War III somehow. But I don't know that, because if Hillary was taken over, would I be very scared. Like I said, I'd be moving to Omaha, Nebraska, where John Teeter talked about that, moving his family. That's where I'd be going. And if by chance they take out Trump in any way, shape, or form, whether he's, they try to impeach him for some nonsense or they literally take him out JFK style or anything else, I will be going to Omaha, Nebraska no matter what, if that happens. Because, again, I'm listening to John Teeter stuff on that one, and it makes a lot of sense. But, again, the good news, as I said before, the Baba Vanga thing, prophecy, 44th president, he will be a black man, he will be the last one because a devastating economic crisis occurs. Now, I'm still expecting a pretty devastating economic crisis. I've already been over this. Why? The world's debt to GDP ratio is 360-something%. You can't have that and keep going. It doesn't work that way. Has to be dealt with. It may not be pretty. But there is a new president. So Barack's not necessarily the last one, now is he? So that's a good sign. Maybe, just maybe, so-called prophecies don't have to happen as told. Even the ones that have really good track records, the people who say it. We can only hope so. But, so yeah, I wanted to read you that. That was his speech in full. It sounds fantastic. He appears to be a man of his word because everything he's been talking about, he's been doing it. He was even doing it before he stepped into office. I heard he gave a guy that was kind of down on his luck. He was a FedEx driver or something, didn't have enough money to afford a suit, so his friend bought him a suit, was given a pair of shoes by some shoe store or whatever to attend, and Trump told one of his aides, write him a check for $10K out of my account. Let's help this guy out. Beautiful thing. Clinton, you ever see Clinton do anything like that? Barack, maybe? They got to go buy their new houses, and I got another house over here, and, take care of their people, which isn't you or me. But anyways, I just want to share that with you. Take care.